welcome to another episode of the Little Radio Show. My name is Sandra Fernandez, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Juan Alanis and Anjelica Cazares, and we're bringing you small talk about big topics. This week we have tips on what to give your friends and family as the clock counts down to Christmas Day. We also have a conversation about what it means to be told that you sound Hispanic, as well as our individual experiences when that's happened to us. Just a reminder that you can catch us every week on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central Time on hmsnetradio.org. Our show archives and the link to our iTunes and Stitcher channels are available at thelittleradioshow.com. Today we are no less than 2 weeks away from Christmas. So let me be the one to give you the bad news that if you haven't found that perfect Christmas gift, you're running out of time.
You're better said, you ran out of time.
So kidding. My nieces and nephews are all getting money this year.
Oh, that's an easy gift. That's an easy solution.
My oldest niece is in college and needs living money. Yeah. Her brother is a 16-year-old teenager who always needs money. Mm-hmm. And my youngest nephew, quote unquote, discovered money last year and now is always asking for wallet cash.
Well, I think if my nephews and nieces thought that was an option, they'd automatically say cash. Just give me cash.
Now, in my family, the tradition is adults don't get gifts. Mm-hmm. We started this several years ago to facilitate and to actually make the stress of the holidays less. And we're very pleased with it, so we don't exchange gifts for the adults. The kids are the only ones that get gifts for Christmas, which is fabulous, which means that I am done with my holiday shopping. Woohoo!
Oh, well, aren't you spoiled? No, but if you're still shopping for any last minute gifts, like I've done it before, where like the day before Christmas, I'm like still at the store shopping.
The night, the 24th.
And this is where those superstores and and pharmacies come in handy.
Hey, I've done those too.
And then by that time, everything has been rummaged through. There's nothing really that great left, and so you're kind of just stuck. You're kind of like,
I know, poor kids.
You're kind of like, okay, well, what can I get that's halfway decent? That's not going to look like.
So, what are some of your go-to holiday gifts without spoiling presents that you're buying other people? What do you normally get?
One of the things that I do every year is I have a go-to thing. So I have a few nieces who are around the same age. And once I figure out what I'm going to get for one, I kind of just do it the same for all. Okay. And so I eliminate like 6 gifts at one time. And it's so much easier like that. It's
easier that way too, because then they're not fighting about, well, so and so got this and I didn't got this.
I've never seen them fight about it, but the boys, the younger kids, do fight about it. Especially my 2 nephews, who I believe one time I went to the store and I'm not sure what it was, but I was getting one of them a Ninja Turtle, and I was trying to guess what to get the other one, and my sister was like, I just get the same thing, trust me. And I was like, why? But they're, difference in age, and I want to get something, different for the other one. She's like, no. They're going to fight. Please just do the same thing for both. And I was like, okay. But I learned that very quickly. So my nieces all if I find something for one, they all get the same thing.
But one thing that you do too is that you're very good at getting like little gifts, a bunch of little gifts to go and package together. Yeah,
because every year I do like this little, like a bag. It's like a gift. Inside the bag is like little trinkets. So either socks or cool pins or candy they don't always get.
So stocking stuffer type things.
Sort of type of stocking stuffers type of things. I never thought of it like that. But we don't put any stockings, and so they're just they come in really cute bags, and I make sure I decorate them correctly. And I think they like those a little bit more.
They always feel like they get more because they're always like pulling out like, oh, I got this and I got that and I got blah, blah, blah. And even though it's like a lot of small things, they're still like, oh, it's a lot.
Yeah. So that's always fun. And I do that actually for all the kids in the family. And each one, it's very personalized. Back in the day, I used to do everything was the same. It's sort of like candy bags. And now it's like each one has its personalized thing. So, the boys like Ninja Turtles. And so they're going to get Ninja Turtle socks inside their thing. And the girls get like, I don't know what the hell teenage girls are so freaking hard. I don't know why I've been lost for a while now. And it's like, what in the world am I supposed to get them?
Well, buying the perfect present for somebody you actually know is hard. Buying the perfect present for somebody you don't know, forget about it. Office gift exchanges were always my worst nightmare come to life, because I could never figure out what the perfect gift was. And eventually what I figured out was to get something whimsical, and you could never go wrong with something whimsical. So I ended up with like a desktop foosball machine,
that's cool.
that was like because it had to be less than $20, and or one year I gave a musical Santa that played the saxophone.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And one year I gave a snow globe of Houston. Stuff like that.
Sandra, can you be my secret Santa?
I know, right? I know.
I've had great success
They're
with
hits.
that. Yes,
That's awesome. That's good to know, actually, because when you're getting like friends things or things that you have an amicable relationship with, and they you don't know what to do, like you don't know what to get, the whimsical is a very good way to go. But what I liked when I used to work in an office was one of the best presents I got was, and I try to reenact it, was a candle. It was a very simple candle. It was a candle made of soy, I think, and it was like scented of cranberries or something, and it had like leaves in it. But it wasn't the candle; it was the way it was wrapped. And I will never forget it. It was like beautifully wrapped, and it was just gorgeous. And I was like, "Oh my god!" I
can't do that because I can't wrap it.
But I try to emulate that all the time now. It's the way you wrap it.
Well, see, one thing that I did, and it wasn't a last minute thing, but it was like a gift that had sentimental value, and it was pretty easy to put together. Was last year I gave all my brothers and sisters a picture of like an old picture of my mom when she was younger.
That was nice.
And
he actually got it
I got
digitized.
it enlarged.
You got it digitized and enlarged actually at a very at a place, because I think we tried Walgreens or something or CVS, and it wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it.
The resolution like just wasn't the same, or wasn't like the quality that you wanted. And you took it, and then for $20 each, it was like perfect.
Yeah, and then I just got frames for them, and gave everybody their own like picture, and it was like a good gift.
It's too late to do like the really cool custom, stuff like sending a photo away to have a puzzle made out of it, or something like that. Sorry, sweeties, time has run out. You're just not gonna do, But sometimes it's the really cool, like the nonsense, like a coffee warmer. Like they've got these really cute little things that will plug into the USB. You put your cup on, it keeps your coffee warm. Or small things that actually are thoughtful or helpful.
Well, those are the best gifts. Like when you get a gift and you feel like the person kind of really thought about you and like what you like. Those are the best gifts, because you're like, oh, like they noticed that I do this.
It's the kind of things that not so much that you like, but that they think you will appreciate. So last minute gifts, if you don't find anything and if you step away and you come back to it, you're going to find yourself like, okay, if I put some thought, what does this person really like? I mean, are they into silver or gold or pearls, or are they into their hair? Are they into their, accessories? Are they whatever? Those small things that you pay attention to, appreciate. And it goes back to one of the conversations that we had on here before, which was, taking value in somebody else, taking value in what they, paying attention. I forget the guy that we did the interview with.
Ramon Santillan.
Yes, I'm sorry. So, but he did talk about a lot of that, like paying attention to people's quirks, people's,
or if somebody,
clues.
Yeah, or if somebody lives out of town and you want to give them like a gift card to an airline or something. Like, here's your $50 for a ticket for Southwest,
Yeah, I think that was the best gift. One of the best gifts that we gave was because we knew they flew a lot, and we knew the airline that they love to fly on, so we got them a gift card. That was a little bit of money towards that airline, and they were like, awesome, like, and now I don't have to put that much more money towards my flight. But yeah,
so I'm okay with getting
even
gift cards.
Even gift cards, yeah.
So first is whimsical. The other one is food. Food is usually a very safe thing, because even if the person that you give it to isn't going to consume it themselves, they'll give it to a family member who is. Like, for example, if you're going to be giving a selection of coffees because they're a coffee drinker, so that they can test it out. Or if you're going to be giving chocolates. Well, I have a sister who is who loves sugar stuff as we all do. But she's really not into dark chocolate. And so when people make the mistake of giving her dark chocolate, she passes it on to me, who I do enjoy dark chocolate.
Like hint, hint. I am a fan of chocolate. Nougats of kinds and caramels and marshmallows covered in chocolate. I am all down. Oh my God, I want some now.
If you know the person is someone who does barbecuing, then maybe giving them a selection of dry rubs for the barbecue might be a good idea. Or, something a little bit exotic that they might want to try out. Something to that effect. Something a little bit, different than, to give them an idea. Maybe something a little bit indulgent. I mean, I had a friend who one year gave me caviar and crackers.
How was that?
It was very good, actually.
Sandra, it sounds like you're a good gift giver. So
she's been at this for quite a while. Can you tell who's been who's been in the industry longer?
Hey,
I'm the novice in the group, apparently.
I'm going to remind you that all I'm giving this year is cash, so I don't know what you should take that.
I definitely like the idea of food also because now I'm thinking about it. I was like, oh, that would be awesome. Somebody gave me something like turkey jerky or something.
Well,
like, who would not want that?
Something different, because we used to put gift packets together for my brother when he was overseas, and every gift packet would be something different, and we always had fun with it. And there was one time we sent him, 2 bottles of chimichurri and a couple of bags.
Chimichurri.
Yes,
what is that?
Chimichurri, that's that South American, I call it South American pesto. That's that green sauce.
Okay.
Green salsa, and that you, that they put on steaks, but you also dip fried plantain chips in. And we sent him fried plantain chips and chimichurri sauce that one year, and that was that. Different types of hot sauce so that they can try them all out in varying degrees of hotness.
My mom used to mail fajitas and tamales to my sister in Washington.
That was cute. But yeah, so good. Food, dry food, things that, that are going to last. Of course, when you said food, I was like, wait, Sandra, why would you go and buy food and then take it? I'm not sure how that works out. Or maybe you're thinking taking them out to lunch, as a Merry Christmas or as a, Happy Holidays.
And you can always fake it out and go to what are those places called where they sell the gift baskets of salamis and cheeses and stuff like that. And they've got all the different types. And you can go and you can have a basket made or you can buy one ready-made. And there are places online that this is all they do, and they sell fancy types of marmalade and other stuff like that you can try out. But here in Houston, there's places where they sell jalapeno jelly that's really good on crackers with cream cheese and stuff like that. So there's places that make pumpkin fudge. That's stuff like that. When I say food, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and there's also and here's something that's simple. And tickets to the movies, a gift certificate to the movies. That's cool too.
That is cool.
You can tell. Again, I'm the novice here, so my go-to is gift cards.
So, when I do gift cards, my go-tos are Amazon, Barnes and Noble, iTunes, and the movies.
Yeah, iTunes, definitely. iTunes, kids, the boys, the kids, the girls, all of them. They're always asking, for credit for iTunes. They're so iTunes gift cards are a good thing unless they have Androids. Then know.
My nephew loves getting Barnes and Noble cards because he likes to go and purchase stuff at Barnes and Noble. If I don't give him cash, I give him a Barnes and Noble card.
So I think to wrap it up, if you have any other ideas that you think other people, last minute people shoppers like us like to give out, please let the audience know and let us know, because obviously we are clueless.
If you're just tuning in, this is the Little Radio Show on hmsnetradio.org.
The other day I remembered a story of that happened to me when I was quite a bit younger, but it was an experience that kind of stayed with me because I didn't realize until that point that I had what you would consider a Hispanic accent. And it was something that happened. I was I was working at a call center back then, and I was talking on the phone, and somebody called in, and the person who called in said to me, I would like to speak to somebody who's not Hispanic, or who's not Spanish, actually, which I was like, well, I'm not from Spain. But he was he kind of was like, I just don't want to speak to somebody who's Hispanic or who's Spanish in this case. And until that point, and I was like in my 20s, I had not realized that I actually had what you would consider a Hispanic accent. And so then I went and I recorded myself to see if I had a Hispanic accent. And sure enough, when I heard it back, I was like, hey, I do sound Hispanic. Which was, it was kind of one of those moments that kind of has stuck with me, just because I was like, how weird that I never thought about it that way. And so the question today for this segment is, can you sound Hispanic?
Well, of course you can sound Hispanic. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
And there's different things, different accents.
I think it's a regional thing. I think you can sound from your region. Like, for example, in Mexico, they know where you're from depending on your accent.
Well, in the U.S., they know where you're from depending on your accent.
But Hispanics, we never thought about that. Hispanics here, you kind of know the Hispanic people as opposed to any other race.
And then does it apply to, I mean, I would assume it applies across the board, like, you can sound Hispanic, can you sound Asian, can you sound African American, can you sound Caucasian? But I think it goes back to the idea that, that you have to sound a certain way. That, that if you're Hispanic, you have to sound a certain way. And I think that there's people out there who don't necessarily sound Hispanic.
Well, let's go back to the assumptions behind having an accent.
Yeah.
The reality is that if you speak English with a pronounced foreign accent, there's an immediate assumption that you're dumb.
Yeah.
There is an immediate assumption that you're dumb or...
That you don't understand.
That you don't understand. Now, that's not all accents. Every accent has some sort of I don't know if what you would call it, prejudice attached to it. Like an English accent automatically makes you sound smarter,
and you're more desired, and
you're
like, how exotic.
But Hispanic accents, and it's really hard to say Hispanic accents because there is no Hispanic language. It's Spanish. So an accent that denotes that your primary language was Spanish or that of your parents was Spanish right now seems to have a negative reaction to people.
Yeah, and I think it's like you can, and then the thing is in Spanish, like you can have different accents in it. So like if Spanish is your first language, you can have a thicker accent, which is, that's what I was accustomed to until then. But that's
not frowned upon as much as it is if it's your second language. That's me, but I can sound Hispanic.
Well, that's what I mean. Until then, I didn't know that just speaking that I sounded Hispanic. Just even though I don't have a thick accent, just that something in the inflection of my voice or the way that I say certain words or the way that I guess it just comes. You can just hear it, and it comes through that I'm Hispanic.
Well, my niece, when she was in kindergarten, had a really good friend that was born and raised here. Nice girl. Opened her mouth and British came out. Her parents were British. Born and raised in the U.S. and she sounded like she was born and raised in Britain because we speak the way the people around us speak. I used to live in Atlanta and and you pick up the inflections and the way of speaking of the people around you. When I went to visit my family up in Detroit, and they go, "Oh my God, their accents are so cute. They sound so Southern."
I got that from my cousin. She came from Wisconsin, mind you. And do you remember that, Juan? She came down from Wisconsin, and they were sitting around. And they're like, "Oh my God, you sound so like," in their voice, and I'm like, "No, sweetheart, I think I sound more American than you do."
But we use like the things like y'all, like we say y'all,
yes.
and
I've noticed this, and I didn't know that when I don't hear you say this, Sandra, but I do around my cousins. When we say well, we don't exactly say well, we say wall. Like, and it's like, it's not the entire word.
Oh, my favorite, when I moved to Texas was the East Texas accent in the wash. The wash, the when they say wash, and there's like an invisible R in there, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
But see, my thing is like I do the same thing though when somebody from I think my thing are like New Jersey accents. I really enjoy the New Jersey accent. I'm just like, just keep talking. I just like listening to the way you talk.
Back to whether or not you can sound Hispanic. Yes, of course, you can sound Hispanic. If you open your mouth and talk and people can't see you, can they just based upon the words that you said, not even the words, but the way that you said them, the tone, the language, and the accent, figure out that you're Hispanic? Absolutely. And some of us have a more pronounced Hispanic accent than others. Now, I've had people tell me that I sound Hispanic, and I've had people tell me that I don't. And I'm like, okay, it's really hard for me to be objective about that.
Well, I have to say, when I spoke to you over the phone the first time, I didn't think you were Hispanic.
And a lot of people don't. And it, you know, this, my brother calls it my intern voice. That intern voice of yours, doesn't really help. You learn your language from the people around you. So let's say all day, every day, I am hearing somebody call soda pop. And it's pop and that's pop. But if I go 2 blocks down, everybody calls it soda. But everybody that I see on a daily basis, that I come into contact every day, who I have dinner with, who I play with, they all call it pop. To me, that's pop. And that's it. And that's the pronunciation for it. And that's the way it does.
Is there an accepted accent? Because a lot of people in the news media, like the anchors specifically, they get, they used to, I don't know if they still do, they used to get coached to have a more Midwestern accent.
And it's not just that. Pollsters and other people, if they want someone to go out and talk to people in such a way that there's not an automatic judgment against them, they give them a Midwestern accent, which is considered to be a more neutral accent in the U.S. So let's go back to the original question, though. Can you sound Hispanic? Yes. But what does that mean?
Yeah.
So what if I sound Hispanic?
What are the implications of that? Yeah, what are the implications of that, I guess? And the other thing to me is, you shouldn't judge, just because somebody, has a Hispanic name or they sound Hispanic doesn't mean that they're, less qualified or that they're, I don't know what the implications are with that.
Everybody has an accent. Let's clear that up. Yeah. Everybody has an accent. The fact is that some people have an accent that's more pervasive than others or more acceptable than others.
Yeah, well, again, it's all they're blurred lines, and we're trying to define them.
There's a book by Malcolm Gladwell, and I'm pretty sure it's the one called Blink. It's about how we make decisions, and there's a chapter in there about how orchestras make decisions on who to choose to play in there. And this is actually specific to why there weren't when they were trying to get more women into orchestras. And in order to make it literally, truly a blind selection, they put people behind a wall or something. They didn't say their name, and they didn't allow them to, in any way, shape, or form, identify who they were, not talk, not anything, so that the people making the selection wouldn't know who they were, if they were male or female or whatever. And predominantly more women were chosen using this method than if the people knew that they were women who were auditioning.
Oh, wow.
Whether or not you're Hispanic, whether or not you're female, shouldn't matter. And people are going to tell you that, and in no way affects how they think about who you are. But just the fact that we get this question, the three of us are Latinos, the three of us happen to be Hispanic, and the automatic question for us is, oh, is the show in Spanish? That right there is an automatic assumption based upon...
Well, see, that's why I like the voice, because when you're singing, then nobody can see you, and then they have to turn around if they like your voice, and that's the way they pick you, not based on how you like.
Is this the way we like networking? Should we just go in blindly with all the lights off and everybody speak, and then?
I don't know if that would be a good idea.
But I like that theory. I like the theory behind not being able to say who you are, where you come from, because that's the first thing, as opposed to just the conversation, how well you would like them, because we do have this very fast assumption, they, depending some, even I do that based on some voices where some people attract me than others. I think to myself, there's no way we have nothing in common. I've never met this person, and right away I'm like, no, we have nothing in common.
And the thing is, you have to remember that everybody has their own unique life experience. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. You can have so much in common with somebody who has nothing, grew up so different from you.
I think,
well, it's like the superficial layer. Who cares what I sound like? the reality is, what am I about? Where do I come from? What do we have in common? That's really the question, no?
Well, if you sound Hispanic and I'm not Hispanic, I'm going to assume we have nothing in common.
Why?
Because the way you associate might not be the way I associate, might not be your expression, the way you are might not be the same as me. But
that opens up an entirely different topic about why we tend to socialize based upon demographics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a conversation for another day. So going back to today's question, can you sound Hispanic? Yes. But the real question is, why does it matter?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just wanted to open it up for discussion. And, I think that's really a big question that we can't cover in this show, but...
Oh, we'll certainly try.
Nothing's holding us back from doing that. But why does it matter?
Yes.
Can you guys tell me why do you think it matters?
Well, because of what you just said. Mm-hmm. There's an automatic assumption that if you don't sound like me, we have nothing in common. There's an automatic assumption that if you sound Hispanic, then Spanish must be your first language.
And I might not understand you, and you might not understand me.
There's an automatic assumption about where you grew up and what your background is and what even for some people, what your educational level was.
And what it is that you care about. What it is that you care about. Like they must be against Donald Trump. They must be like pro-immigration. They must be, you know what I mean? Like it's all like assumptions about what you may or may not believe.
Well, so for our listening audience, the question for you is, why do you think accents are such a big deal to everyone in the U.S. and outside there? And please leave us your take on this in the show notes. If you're just tuning in, this is Sandra Fernandez, Juan Alanis, and Anjelica Cazares on The Little Radio Show. You can find our show archives at ldquo.com. And now, as a special extra segment, we have an outtake from our recent conversation about favorite music. The interesting thing, I think, would be to go through your Pandora and see what you have in as stations. Because I've got a station, literally I have a reggaeton station.
Okay.
That every once in a while, I go through and I want to hear reggaeton. I want to hear, straight reggaeton. But I have a station it's called Fight Song, because it's based upon that song, Fight Song, and it's got, all this younger girl music that really I'm supposed to be too old for and love. I have a station just for that.
Okay. Well, see, I have on my thing right now. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say, I have Bella Nova.
Yes.
I love Bella Nova. I have Celia Cruz. When I have live things, I just I like salsa, and I have La India too. And then I have, just other things. I downloaded the Jenny Rivera, which I never really listened to, but I just downloaded. And then, of course, I have J-Lo. And,
I like watching her stuff. I don't like listening to Jenny Rivera. I like listening to her stuff on, I don't listen to it, on the radio, but I like watching it, YouTube's. I love the way she performs. But what I have, I'm guilty. I'm going to make a guilty, confession here. Justin Bieber as of lately.
Oh.
Ouch.
Meghan Trainor for me.
Meghan Trainor?
Oh, I love Meghan Trainor. She's
all right,
one of my
we're
favorites.
confessing. I do like Selena Gomez music.
Juan, I'm sorry to tell you this. We all knew already.
Yeah, we did. But, I never thought I was a Justin Bieber hater. Now I'm a believer.
Well, now what do they call? They all call them their followers something. It's so funny.
Yeah, believers, and then I think Becky G is her beasters. And then they have a few other. I don't know them all.
All right, I'm just an old person. I have no idea what you're talking about. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Little Radio Show. We invite you to check out our iTunes and our Stitcher channels and to leave us a rating or a review. You can find the link to both of our channels at thelittlерadioshow.com.